We're River Crest Farm. My great grandparents started the farm in 1942. These are my parents, Andy and Maria. I'm Andromeda. We are in Milford, Connecticut. We grow annuals, perennials, herbs, medicinal herbs, vegetable starts in the spring and sell them from our greenhouse in Milford. In the summer, we do vegetables in a CSA, and we also sell vegetables at the downtown Milford Farmers Market and from our farm stand.
Christmas.
Nice.
Oh, and we sell Christmas trees and make wreaths out of our evergreens and make evergreen gnomes and things like that, and do workshops. We also do like succulent workshops and wreath workshops in the winter.
It was my grandparents that built this greenhouse. The outside is different from the original outside, but the benches, same redwood benches. And my grandfather built it from a kit.
Do you know what the dimensions are, about roughly? How big is it?
He has a paper.
This one? Well, it's kind of split into two.
Yeah.
One is 30 by 60 and the other is 30 by 75 feet.
Okay. Wow. It's a good size.
Yeah.
And they're both heated, and how do you heat them? Propane?
Our main source is wood.
Wood,
with
okay.
a wood-fired hot water boiler. And we have a backup oil furnace. And yeah, it used to be all oil. Maria's mother.
Originally, it was coal.
Coal.
My grandparents were here. My mother switched to oil because she did not want to get up in the middle of the night and throw coal on a fire.
Fair enough.
But when I was little, I remember playing in the coal in the room back there, which was very fun.
Oh my gosh.
We still find coal around in the ground sometimes.
No more coal though. Coal then oil, now wood.
Yeah. Okay, so it was originally, you said, a wooden frame, and you switched it, or your mother switched it to this steel?
It's a steel frame with polycarbonate panels.
Okay. When did you switch that? Was it a big project?
It was a pretty big project. She hired a company, was it Grow All? I don't know. A nice guy named Mike.
Yeah.
It took a whole season.
So what are some of the features you've added? I know that in there you've got some really amazing, like
Heat curtain.
heat curtain that goes back and forth, and you've got both of them have the ridge vents, which is great. When were those added?
They were built on when we got the new cover.
Okay.
But the old greenhouse also had ridge vents. It
Yeah,
had like a handle that you cranked.
I still have those.
This has motors, which I always worry about. Someday those motors are not going to work when I switch, but so far they're good.
So far, keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
The underbench heating.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You have PEX tubing under all the benches
Oh yeah.
to heat the root zone. We added that with the wood stove boiler.
That's so cool. So do you heat this year round? Or do you have any? Or the small
That half of it.
Yeah.
We heat year round.
Okay.
And for the heating in the winter, my brother has to be up every, I don't know how many, out every few hours to check the
Yeah,
stove.
it's back like in the old days with the coal stove. You
Yes.
have to go out and check it a couple of times or 3 times at night.
A lot of wood
Make sure it's
splitting.
still going.
What sort of uses do you have for your tunnels? I know you do. It seems like you do a lot of propagation and some in-ground growing as well.
Well, over here we have some ground
Yeah.
because this was the original foundation of the greenhouse, and when they built the new one they had to go out, and so I decided that we could plant things here, and cucumbers are the best because they want to go up anyway.
Yeah. So over the years, when you've added features, are there any guides or instructions that you follow? Like when you put in the hot water heater under the tables, did you come up with that on your own?
We went to a company that sold them and they gave us some advice, but we did all the work of putting the tubing in ourselves.
Yeah.
And they hooked it up to the stove.
Yeah.
And did some of the connections that were a little harder that we weren't familiar with.
Yeah.
But Yeah, there wasn't a lot of planning for that.
That's all right. So over the years, has there ever been anything that didn't go as expected? Like when you've either updated or when you've started, any maintenance over? You were surprised by?
Do you know what was surprising, I think, to some people? When the greenhouse got wider, now the space between this house and the next house is narrower. So when it snows, it fills up with snow. So every time it snows a lot, someone's got to shovel
Yeah, the snow usually goes up above the door.
shovel a tunnel through it.
Yeah, that would.
The past 10 years, we've had 2 or 3 winters where it went up as high as the door. And because the space is just close enough to really fill up, but not close enough to connect.
Yeah. So what would you say is some of your advice for keeping things going?
You have to get pretty handy and learn to do things yourself.
Yes.
And buy the tools you need to do it.
Yeah.
But, and don't let things get out of hand. Try to catch them
Fix the
before they
problem
go.
before it gets too bad.
Yeah, I think finding ways to use things you already have to, like, when we're not planting things here, we put pallets over it and use it as another
table
greenhouse
space,
bench.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, just using what's around to meet our needs.
We get the pallets from our Vermont compost. We get Vermont compost
yeah.
every year in
Get your-
sling bags.
Yes.
And we get a supply. We get about 8 every year, and, 8 to 10, and they all come on a pallet. So we get fresh pallets every year.
That's nice. I know. They do so quickly.
We use the bags to make all sorts of greenhouse accoutrement also, like that's bags of Vermont compost that are keeping the weeds down.
And those straps that tie them to the pallet, that's hanging up our bamboo.
Yep.
I love it. Do you want to give us a rough idea of some of the big projects you've done over the years?
Let's see. We did a floor in this area of patio blocks.
We were thinking we would have a gift shop, which we haven't done, but that was a need we thought we might have at the time.
We had to make a new wall. The wall was closer this way, and we wanted space, so we made a new wall over here and a door. Put in a bathroom. I had to replace hot water tanks for the underbench heating system, hot water system. That lasted the original ones lasted about 10 years.
Okay.
I had to replace them. They were starting to rust. Before we had an accident. Couldn't afford that in the middle of the heating system. We're reseeding all the glass in our glass greenhouse.
It's a big project.
Yeah, it's ongoing. It started last fall. We're probably about a quarter of the way done. We built a cooler for the CSA in one of the old coal bins on the end of the greenhouse, and we used a cool box and an air conditioner to cool the vegetables, which is a very cool thing. So we did some concrete work in the entrance. We built the hoop house, the new high tunnel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've done a lot of electrical work over the years. I do most of our electrical work.
Yeah, well, it's like every day he wakes up and I tell him something's wrong with the greenhouse.
Well, I have my plan of what I'm going to work on.
Yeah.
But that always gets overridden by emergency.
Something else happens and it
something's
moves
always
down the
broken.
list.
Yeah.
I got that.
You have to be able to fix things. You have to be handy.
It's true.
Or you're going to be in trouble.
Or you're always going to be paying someone else to do it.
Yes,
and that gets
and you
pricey
can't afford
fast.
that.
Yeah. If there was no limitations for time, money to an extent, what is the project that you would love to work on for your greenhouses?
Well, I really think having a dirt floor is a wonderful thing because you just put more dirt on the floor. But these aisles are so uneven, and I watch so many little old ladies,
Tottering.
with their footing just not really where it should be. So I would somehow smooth out those aisles.
I would probably go around all the edges where the mugwort and the bindweed keep coming in and seal up all the edges, because that drives me crazy, and it's really hard for me to weed it because I'm short and I can't reach. So yeah, I would probably work on turning it into a hermetically sealed greenhouse.
I would just finish. I have so many projects that are unfinished. I wish I had more time to finish my tool shed, to finish the electrical line to the new hothouse, new hoop house. If I had to build another high tunnel, I would have somebody build it this time.
Yeah.
I'm glad I built it because it was interesting and I learned, but I would have somebody do it. Because there's always that trade-off between do you pay somebody or do you do it yourself?
Yeah.
Because your time is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
So.
It's true.